It's winter, it's already dark outside, I've been working for 10 hours. Let's do this.
The Godstone is mine.
Welcome, this is Devlog number 2, the second Devlog in my Devlog series. So there's a bunch of stuff that I wanted to talk about, and one of these things are what I'm currently working on for the demo release and also the Steam Next Fest this February. And of course, there are some questions in the community that I also want to talk about. Let's get into it. I have made changes to majority of the bosses, as some of them just weren't really challenging or fun once you fought them a couple of times. The Keeper now does this lightning storm attack once his health reaches 50% and summons 2 Goliaths to his side. Otai has become quite nasty and becomes faster the less health he has. He also catapults fireballs at you, and his difficulty probably has to be turned down just a little notch. Alakai has a bunch of new abilities and changes. His attacks are more aggressive and no longer bound to a specific pattern. He can do this thing and can cast a giant nova, but will now only teleport into the air and summon undead once. This will give him a much higher intensity fight that I'm really looking forward to. The Guardian of Sanctums pretty much just looked like himself, but he will also be changed quite a bit. It's just not that fun to be able to mostly stand still and blast at the same spot until he dies. In order to tease just a little bit, here is artwork of his future self. Besides bosses, there are also some new enemies, the Skeletal Warrior and Archer. I have also added a brand new spell. You guys have requested more ways to heal yourself, so here you go. Godstone now has a healing spell. But instead of costing energy, it costs experience. This means it can't be abused and really becomes a last resort type of spell. I tested it out and it genuinely feels so good to be able to heal yourself like that. The UI has also received a bunch of love and even has a little face now. Look at that face! Oh yes, and on the left side you can also see how many keys you've got, so you no longer have to open the inventory to check. I previously reached out to the community to hear if there was anything you would like for me to talk about. And one of the questions I got was, what are the plans for replayability? Since Godstone is a roguelike game, replayability really is essential to keep the game fun. So here are a couple of replayability things I do. Throughout the game, there will be quests granted by NPCs and other events. All quests have permanent rewards, meaning the reward also affects all your future runs. For example, this quest requires you to cleanse a well, and once you do, you can now drink from it. It fully restores your health and grants a skill point every single run. These quests appear over time, and the well quest appears after 3 runs, and another quest appears after 10 runs, and so on. This ensures new content for a very long time, and more quests will of course be added as Godstone gets updated. And there's randomization. A classic feature in roguelikes is of course randomization, and Godstone is no different. All loot levels and the enemies you face are randomized, making sure there is enough variety to go around. More levels will also be added over time, ensuring new possibilities for exploration. And then of course there is the story, because after the content of the demo, the story continues. And there is a lot of it. So if you are a player that loves to explore the story and lore of games, then you're probably gonna love this part. I am not joking when I say this world has taken a decade to build. It's freaking insane. It's taken such a long time. It started out as an unfinished book and then evolved into what Godstone is today. There are fictional languages, cultures, religions, gods, laws of magic, and so much more, and everything in the game is tied to the lore, and by playing, the story will reveal itself. As mentioned in the previous devlog, you also get to unlock playable characters, and they have their own stories to tell, open up for new items and even spells. So there's a lot of content for replayability, in the sense that you can unlock things, you can explore things, and new content will be added to the game as you play. Next question a community member had is, what about post-launch? What are the plans? What are we gonna do? And I have a bunch of plans. I have so many plans and ideas. First of all, the most important update to get out of there relatively quick is just to fix the bugs and polish stuff and fix the issues that inevitably are gonna haunt me in my dreams. It just keeps coming. It just keeps coming. It doesn't stop! I will also be working on a major content patch called the Blood Tree. And I am so excited for this. I have been concepting and planning this for, I would say, quite possibly a year at least. And this is perhaps going to be the most central feature in the game. The Blood Tree is an empty skill tree. You find the content for the tree through gems that drop from bosses. This allows you freedom to create your entire own skill tree. Each gem has a buff. For example, rubies give you 2% more damage and diamonds give you 10% more range. You can then combine smaller gems into greater gems to become even more powerful. And then finally, you can take the greater gems and combine them to create the highest tier gem possible. You can only have one of the highest tier gems active in the Blood Tree at the time, because they are ridiculously strong and they absolutely fundamentally change how your character works. The effects of the Blood Tree are permanent and applies to all your characters, though of course you can make multiple builds and switch between them as you see fit with whatever character you want to play. There's way more to come with the Blood Tree. This is just touching the surface. I want it to be probably the deepest mechanic in the game. So I'm super excited about that. It's gonna be really, really awesome. Another big thing that I want to add to Godstone are multiple paths. Similar to the demo, where you can get to choose what direction you want to go through the game, and depending on what direction you choose, you get to meet new enemies, new levels and NPCs. But I also want to add that to the ruins, which are going to be part of the early access release. And the first path I'm going to make is going to be the catacombs. But this path system will also be connected to the Blood Tree. For example, there is a higher chance of certain gems dropping in the catacombs than there are in the ruins, and vice versa, which gives players who enjoy making builds like these a whole new tactical way of playing the game. We made it to the end, and I have run out of stuff to tell you guys for this devlog. I'm super excited to finally get the game out there, and this new version will be out on Steam as a free demo January the 1st. Now I will go back to do some more polish and bug fixing, so this demo will be the most scrumptious ever. Stay hydrated.